So look, how are we gonna grow? How are we gonna grow? We gotta run high numbers. We gotta run high numbers. So there's a saying in business, right? And there's laws in business. There's theories and then there's laws. The law of large numbers that's a law. That's why they call it a law. It's not the theory of large numbers. You have to run high numbers if you want to win at anything at a big level. And this is not a business of possibilities. It's a business of probabilities. Primerica is a business of probabilities. You won't possibly win. You will probably win if you run high numbers. And that's what you guys have to understand, right? Here are some of the numbers that you need to know. 1 out of 4 people join. 4 out of 10 guests that you invite will come to the meeting. 3 out of 8 appointments will buy. These are worst case scenarios. And this is what's going to happen. Now, what a lot of people do is they get confused and they say, okay, I had 4 people come to the office and none of them joined. It's about the sample size. When numbers are determined, when ratios are determined, they go through hundreds and sometimes thousands of samples before they come up with these numbers. It's not going to happen in the first week. It happens over time. You have to condition yourself for that. Think about that. How many people could see the opportunity, even a terrible presentation, and not join the business? It's impossible for that to happen. It is a 100% probability that if enough people come through the door and see this opportunity, hear Shaq, hear me, see the slides, see Primerica, hear the goals, see the compensation, see the potential, that people aren't going to say yes. You have to put the numbers in your favor. Does that make sense? Here's the thing, okay? And this is something that a lot of people struggle with, right? Let's say that somebody is really skilled, okay? Let's say me. Let's say that I can get 5 out of 10 to do anything. I'm using me as an example because I've been here a long time, right? So let's say that I can get 5 out of 10, have to do anything, whether it's join, whether it's buy, whether it's whatever, right? So I am operating at a 50% success rate. Now, somebody else who's maybe a little bit newer, maybe they're not as skilled, what's going to happen is they're not going to be as good, and they're only getting 1 out of 10. You always have 2 options in business. One is efficiency, right? I always start the word, but then I just right? And the other is volume. There's efficiency and then there's volume. So what a lot of people do is they say, man, I'm not that good at the business. I have to learn more about the product. I have to read more, right? And they're trying to become more efficient. They're doing the same amount of activity, and what they want is they want to go from a 1 to a 6 so they can be better than this person here. It takes a lot of time. Efficiency takes a lot of time. Here's how the newest person can be the most skilled person, okay? What do we learn in math? The top number is called the numerator. The bottom number is called the denominator, right? If you're trying to change the numerator in business, you're going after efficiency. You're trying to raise your skill level. So what people do is they target their efficiency. They say, I need a securities license. I need to learn the products better. Sit down and teach me the presentations. And they slow everything down so that this number can go up. I'll tell you what someone else can do, right? If I change the denominator to 100, doesn't that make the top number 10? We have to stop thinking about efficiency and we have to start thinking about just running higher numbers. You can win right? It's guaranteed. You can beat a more skilled person. It's a guarantee. It's not a maybe. It's a guarantee. You can beat the most skilled person in the office if you run higher volume. Okay? Now, yes, this person can do less, and you have to do a hell of a lot more. It's guaranteed. I didn't say it was fair. Business and life is not about fair. You got to do what you got to do. The person who outworks the person, because you know what happens is when you get efficient, you start working less. You say, oh man, to get 5, I only have to do 10. So instead of doing 100 like this person, so you can get 50 out of 100 and you can stay ahead, you start doing less because now you can get more out of doing less. Now, what's happening, right? Zishan, right now, you're 1 out of 10. You suck at the business. You have to go through a lot to get people to do anything, right? So you start doing more and more and more, and you say, hey, you know what? I don't care. If I got to do more to beat this guy, I'll do more to beat this guy. I'll outwork this person. But what happens when they're going through 10 and you're going through 100? Now you're getting better faster. The only way to get better is to run higher numbers. Going straight for the top number and getting more efficient, it doesn't work. Every one of us, we got better because we focused on the bottom number. It is a guarantee. Let me ask you this. Is the gym guaranteed? If you go to the gym, is it guaranteed you're going to get in shape? Yeah. Yes, it is. The question is, are you going to go? The results are guaranteed. You just have to actually show up. The factor, right? The variable in the situation is you. It's not the gym. The gym works. Primerica works. You can recruit people. The answer is always to talk to more people to run higher numbers. And what people do is they do this, right? See, in business, there's a couple things we can do. One person says, hey, I'm at 80, my store is at 80% efficiency. This other guy is only at 60% efficiency. So this person's making more money. Now, this store, how much better can they get? They're already at 80% efficiency. This guy, his efficiency isn't as good, right? But what does he start doing? He starts having more stores. Yeah, they're not as efficient, but he has more volume. Does that make sense? So less efficient, but more. This is number of units. This is volume per unit. This is number of units. Get more units. What am I talking about? I'm saying get more people. Peter has a young team. It doesn't matter. Sophia could be the most skilled person in the office. If he has 20 young people, his 20 young are going to produce the number one producer if she's by herself. You can beat anybody if you go after volume, right? Don't focus on just the volume per unit. You have to have more units. That's how we did it. We outnumbered everybody. We out-recruited everybody. We just brought in more people. And you know what happens over time, right? These people will get to 80 as well. You can even get to 100% efficiency. It doesn't matter. Not only do we have more people, and yes, they're inefficient in the beginning, but eventually they're going to, right? Because what they say, when we came into Primerica, we were the youngest team. They said, you guys are too young. You guys don't have kids. You guys are unqualified. You don't know any clients. But you know what? We grew up. Right? Shaq has kids. Now he is a homeowner. One second. Right? So what started off as a bunch of inefficient people, we worked on what? Volume, 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 more units, more units, more units. And now we've all grown up and we're killing everybody. Being product focused is a very narrow focus. Okay? There's two things that we can focus on. We can focus on more products and more sales, or we can focus on building our distribution. Coca-Cola is not worried about how to get their one Coke machine or any one Coke machine to sell more Coca-Cola. What they're worried about is getting more Coke machines out there. That's a very narrow focus for you to say, oh, I need more sales. And if you just focus on that, distribution is a wider focus. Let me illustrate it for you, okay? Someone who has a narrow focus of just getting sales, this is what it looks like. So we go from one sale to what? Once we get a sale, now what do we have to do? As a salesperson, what do we have to do, Kevin? Once we get one sale, we got to get another sale. Then we got to get another sale. And then we got to get another sale. And hey, those sales might actually be coming from referrals or whatever. I'm not saying you have to prospect for them, I'm not saying, right? But it's a very narrow focus, and the business is growing very slowly, and your income is growing very slowly, and you're growing by addition. You're not growing by multiplication. You're growing by addition. You're not exploding. Now, I did this. I said, I'm going to find a recruit, and then I'm going to find another recruit. Those recruits are going to find more recruit, and I'm going from recruit to recruit, and you know what starts to happen is they start getting sales. And I'm not even the one that has to do it. Recruiting leads to sales. It's a wider focus. It's a wider focus. McDonald's is a they focused on distribution. We all know they don't have the best food, right? We all know that. Five Guys has better food. They'll never make as much money as McDonald's because McDonald's had the widest focus, which is distribution. They created a distribution system. Look at the power there that they have. They'll sell the most burgers, they'll sell the most milkshakes, they'll sell the most fries. It doesn't even matter the quality of the product. If McDonald's right now decided that they wanted to sell energy drinks, would they be begging Red Bull, or would Red Bull be begging McDonald's? Red Bull would beg McDonald's. The best energy drink company would be begging the #1 distributor. Does that make sense? The products are here for you. What you need to do is you need to build your distribution, right? So, you know, you got to know your numbers and you got to run high numbers. Big businesses, they already know the ratios. We used to tell the story that before a McDonald's opens up, what do they do? They have someone sitting outside, right? They have someone sitting outside, and every time a car drives by, they click a clicker. And they know that within an hour or within a day or within a certain period of time, if they click that clicker enough times, there's enough traffic to sustain a McDonald's because they know that based on so many people driving by, a few people are going to stop. Does that make sense? So McDonald's has broken down the numbers. They know exactly what type of traffic needs to be there to sustain one of their business models, one of their franchises. Walmart knows already, before they open up a new position, how many people they have to interview. They know how many people have to walk in through the door for them to sell something or how much revenue they're going to create, right? You got to know your numbers. But those type of ratios come on a high scale. Is your business running on a high scale? No, if you're satisfied because you invited one person and they didn't show up, you're not thinking like a big business. You're not having a wide focus. You're not focused on distribution. Guys, we were absolutely psychotic about recruiting and getting people here and getting other people to bring people. Right? So what can we do from here? How can we build this? These are the things that we have to focus on. Okay? That's a nice, 10 minutes on why distribution, why business. What do big businesses do? But at the end of the day, what do you have to focus on? It starts as simple as this. Commit to at least one guest to every meeting. You know, Keith Otto, we went to his office, some of you guys went with us a couple of years ago. This guy makes $300,000 a month. He's in his early 40s. $300,000 a month. And I went to his meeting, and he stood up as one of the people that had a guest. And after I talked to him after, I was like, you had a guest? He's like, it's just a habit I created early on. Even to this day, I rarely not have a guest. I'm just out and about and hanging out. I just invite people. He's like, it's funny. I mean, he goes, one of my guests tonight, when I interviewed him, I picked him up in my chauffeur Bentley. Right? And I brought him to my house, and he goes, and he's not here tonight. Oh, wow. I was telling Lizzie today that there was somebody in my networking meeting, and she was complaining to me, and she said, you know, me and my husband are so busy with this franchise that we have, and we need someone that's a marketing manager. And, you know, I've interviewed so many people. Listen, she was the head of PR at Freddie Mac. Freddie Mac is no joke, okay? She was the head of PR at Freddie Mac. This lady is unfreaking believably sharp. Her communication skills, everything, right? Her and her husband decided we don't want to do corporate anymore. They bought a franchise. Random, okay? Buy a random franchise in something they have no experience in. They took like a test, and then the franchise company says, this is the type of business you should run. It's a sign company, right? So now they run this sign company, and she's just really sharp, and she's building her business, and now she's getting more business she can handle. She needs a marketing manager. She needs someone in the office. So she goes, I go on Craigslist, I go on Career Builder, I go on Monster, I'm doing all these things, I'm interviewing all these people. She's like, I'm in absolute shock how many people I've interviewed. These college kids have such unrealistic expectations. This lady from Freddie Mac, corporate, all the degrees. She's like, you know, they're coming out of college thinking someone's going to pay them 50 grand. It's like, that's never going to happen. She's like, I don't know where they get this from. It's just so, like, I don't know if it's just Northern Virginia. And I'm just sitting here listening like, yeah, you know. She goes, you know, they come in. I've gotten 2 people that have accepted the job and they didn't show up on the first day. She's like, these are college graduate professionals. They didn't even show up. This is a salary. It's not even like us where it's commission. People are showing up on day 1 for a salary. She goes, they don't even call back. They don't say thank you for the interview. They don't follow up. And she said, you know, I've just never been in this position where I had to hire people. I didn't realize how difficult it was just to find somebody. She goes, I'm not paying that bad. I would think it'd be a good job, maybe a builder-upper for experience or whatever. Does this sound familiar? Right? And the problem is because it's your first opportunity, all your life you've been being recruited. You know exactly what it's like to be recruited. You know the process, right? You get the call. You change your voice. You say all the professional things. You go and you know, in school they teach you, or you talk to someone about how to conduct an interview. You wear the suit. You wear certain colors. You have your hair a certain way. You look conservative. You sit down. You speak their language. You do everyone knows what it's like to get recruited, but you've never had to be the recruiter, and then that's why you think it's weird. Everybody's going through this, guys. Everybody's going through it. Every company's going through it. She's offering a salary. I said, what kind of experience do you need? She goes, at this point, I don't even care. College, not college, just if you can refer me to anybody, refer me. So commit to having 1 guest to every meeting. What does commit mean? Right? Right? Are you committed? Commit means that it has to happen. I got people, humongous goals, humongous dreams, always, you know, want to talk about what they're going to, it's like, have you been committed to having 1 guest to a freaking meeting? Right? Now, in the, you know, when I was building this and I was just a nobody sitting in the back, were there weeks where I didn't have? Yeah, but it was real. Because I felt like my entire life depended on having a guest. This is another thing. And some of you guys are going to hear this and you're not going to think that it applies to you. You have to master the interview. Man, come on. This is your own business. You can't sit down with someone and explain why they need to come in. Some of you guys have been here for a year. You're just still inviting people. Like, yeah, man, new people. AJ, hey, man, invite them. I'll do the work. At what point do you move from inviter to recruiter? Is it that hard to explain your business opportunity? It's a 30-minute presentation. It slides. You point, you talk. When are you ever going to build your own business if you're not the one doing the interview? Learn the interview. We have it on CDs. Your trainer will do the interviews. Watch them. Take notes. Listen to it. Practice it. Do it. And now the big thing I'm focused with my team is master the orientation. Because if you want to build a team here, you have to get people started and explain to them the importance of why they need to recruit, why they need to have a team, and why they need to do it fast. And the orientation, everything in the orientation is designed for that. And the last thing, guys, I got to wrap up here, is you have to master the fast start bonus. and getting people off to a fast start. If you can do interviews, if you can bring guests, if you can do interviews, if you can get them started, if you can indoctrinate them with the recruiting mindset, and then after that, Zishan, on top of everything, you tell them, hey, you got to do 3 by 6 by license in 30 days. Think about what's going to happen. The system is going to create everything for you. The recruits will get more recruits. The recruits will bring in the sales. And they'll get licensed. It's building your licensed sales force, your agency. This business isn't that complicated. But it starts with a very simple commitment up front and for you to learn just a couple of things. Trust me, I'd have to learn a lot more than that if I was going to be a pharmacist. Right? If I go become a pharmacist, they don't say, oh, learn one 30-minute presentation, another 30-minute presentation. By the way, everything's already written. You just point and talk. Right? And then explain why people need to get off to a fast start. Through mastering these things. Now, again, I said master. You got to get good at it. You hear me, I'm good at it. You hear Shaq, he's good at it. Certain people are really good at it, right? But if you do this, I mean, it's unlimited. Why do people's incomes vary? Why is my income different than Kyle's? Because certain people do it for longer. I think me and him we're very good in these areas. But how long did he do it? How long did I do it? Obviously, I did it a lot shorter than he did. You determine how much money you want to make based on how long you want to do it, right? Me and Shaq always admit, man, we've worked only for 2 years in this business. It's freaking awesome, right? He literally right now runs his business through Boxer. Think about it. No. It's funny, but is it funny? It's unbelievable. He runs a business that pays him $50,000 a month through an application on his phone. Do you understand? He's not even getting the calls. He's not even making the calls. He's communicating through an application. That's what's happening. He came tonight in jeans, sneakers, like, I'm not going to start the meeting. I'll just do the end over there. That's his life. It's unreal. Okay? But hey, man, if he goes back to doing this, he can go from 50 to 100,000. Right? It's your choice. But we all mastered the same thing, just some people do it for longer. You with me? It's not some people are better. It's not that. We all have very similar skill sets. It's just, how long are you going to do it for? Right? People look at me and they say, well, if you're only making this, how can I? No. Again, if you do it longer than me, you'll make more. You don't have to be better than me. If you're even half as good, but you do the things longer, you're going to make more. I had a guy come up to me at the trip. I don't have an ego. I tell you guys stuff like this, right? A guy came up to me at the trip. It wasn't the last one. It was Bahamas. And he goes, hey, man. He goes, how you doing? I didn't even know who he was. Okay? Now I know he's Fernando Torres. Okay? You see him on the computer. He makes $500,000. Right? He comes up to me. He goes, you know, when we were growing up in the business, my RVP put a picture of you and a picture of Shaq in the office, and every month we would just try to beat you, and we just never could. He goes, but what happened now? Right? He was really asking. He wasn't trying to make me feel bad. He was like, literally, like, what happened? You were on top of everything. How is it that, you know, I doubled you now? I was like, what can I say? What am I going to say? Make excuses? Right? So, that's the business, man. You guys can accomplish anything you want, even more than Shaq. This is what you have to do, and do it for as long as you want until you hit your goals. Thank God I did as long as, you know, to where it got me today. Some people stop at 70 grand, 80 grand. That's stupid, in my opinion. Right? But that choice is yours, how long you want to do it. But we all get good at the same things. It's not that much. Everybody with me? So you got to build these meetings, man. You got to make a commitment. You got to make a change. You know, when you leave here today, I know everyone feels a little bit more motivated. I'm the one doing the meeting. I'm motivating myself. I feel more motivated. But the question is, when I wake up tomorrow, what has changed? What's different? Am I going to make a couple extra calls? You know, am I gonna do some of this activity? Am I gonna have some of these conversations? What's changing? Some of you guys, is there one extra day you can come into the office? Is there another list that you can make? Is there a skill set you're going to ask your trainer to teach you or you're going to get proficient at? Is there a new activity you're going to add into your schedule? Is there a new daily habit, routine with your goals? I mean, what is going to change? I know you feel motivated. What's going to change? Because if nothing changes, nothing changes.